Hello everyone, and welcome back to this lesson on pushing your models to Hugging Face. So far, we fine-tuned our LLM using custom code, and right now we are just storing the adapters locally on the machine that we used. At this point, you might want to share these adapters with other users, maybe make it public so that other people can use it. And this is when you decide to push your adapters to Hugging Face. This is what we'll do in this lesson. Keep in mind that there are different ways in which you can push things to Hugging Face. One of these ways is actually using a CLI, and it's very similar to how you would push things on GitHub. In fact, it actually uses the same git commands where you can clone a repository and then add some files there and push to Hugging Face. However, we will not be showing this approach because I think pushing through code is easier, but just keep in mind that there are other ways in which you can achieve the same thing. Feel free to check them out. In this video, we'll just show how you can do this through code. The code is actually very simple. We have two methods. The first one is push adapters only. In our case, we were done with fine tuning and we stored the adapters locally on the disk. And now we want to push these adapters to Hugging Face. So this is what this method is all about. And it's going to take the path, which is the directory that stores these adapters, and then some Hugging Face model name, which is equivalent to the repository name on GitHub. So this is how other users would find your model on Hugging Face. Then we do a basic validation. We make sure that this path actually exists. Then we use the Hugging Face API object, and we just upload this folder. You would use this way if you already have your adapters stored locally in a folder, and you just want to push this folder to Hugging Face. So this is how you do it. Again, this is an alternative to doing it from CLI, and that's one of the ways. We also have another way here, but we will not be using it. It's just for illustration. So whenever you're fine-tuning your LLM and you're using adapters, this means you have access to the model through code itself. Let's say it's not yet stored on disk. And this is what this method is trying to show. Let's say that, for example, you loaded the base model. So you have already your base model, and then you have the adapters on top of that model. So right now what this is doing is it's loading the llama model, the instruct version, and then it loads the adapters from disk, and then it combines both things. So that's now what we have. And this variable, you would normally have it this way during fine-tuning itself, where you would have the model on top of the adapters, and then you just finish training. Now, how would you push it? This method is here just to show you that it's as simple as calling the push to hub method on your model, and you just give it the Hugging Face model name. It's very easy, and you can push the tokenizer in the exact same way. However, keep in mind you will not be using this method unless you are pushing the model right after training. So you're done training and then you want to push the model. We're just having it here for reference, but we will not be using it right now. So now I'm on my RunPod machine, and this is the machine that I used to fine-tune our LLMs. To confirm, let's take a look at what we have in the outputs directory. We have this LoRA Samsung, which is the directory that we use to store the adapters. And then inside of here, we have another LoRA adapters directory. Let's take a look inside. This is the actual adapters and the tokenizer configurations. So you have the adapter model.safe tensors, and then you have two files for the configuration. And this is how a typical model looks like on Hugging Face. Now we want to push this. So this is a simple directory that has our adapters, and we want to push it to Hugging Face. What we'll do is we will run the code that I just shared with you. I'm going to give it the model path, which is this, which is the path to this directory that contains all the files that we need. And then I'm going to give it a Hugging Face model name. In this case, it's going to be readytensor / the model name that we have. And keep in mind, the Hugging Face model name is always your username / and then the repository name. Here I'm saying that it's an adapters only option. This is because I showed you two different methods in the code. I want to use the first one. Basically, I'm just saying that I have this folder and I just want to push it. I'm going to run this and let's see what happens. You can see it started running. It didn't take that much because we're pushing adapters. So these files are not actually big. The largest one is just 17 megabytes. So now let's take a look at Hugging Face and see how it looks like. Okay, when I go to Hugging Face and I visit the ReadyTensor account, now you can see that it has this. Actually, let's go to the account itself. You can see it has a single model, which is the one that we just pushed. And if I go inside, you'll see I have some model card. It's empty. It has some placeholders. And then if you go to the files and versions, you'll see that we have our adapters that we have pushed. Now I can very easily load this model and start generating predictions with it. Keep in mind the model card is going to be empty. You can fill that through code as well, and you can also do it from the UI. I just prefer to do it from UI. So it's just a simple README. Make sure you have your documentation, and you can do it whatever way is easier for you. I personally prefer to do this from the UI. So now that we pushed the model to Hugging Face, I can very easily load it on my local machine. So now I moved from RunPod to my computer, and this is why pushing to Hugging Face is very useful. It makes it very easy to load the model in different environments. So now what I need to do is set the name of the repository that I pushed my model to. And I also need to specify the base model name, and this is because we pushed the adapters only. If you have pushed the entire model, then you don't need to do it this way, but we'll do it this way. Since we pushed the adapters, I'm gonna just load the base model and then load my adapters and attach them on top of the model. I'd also load the tokenizer from the repo. So right now I'm loading the tokenizer that we used during training. You can see everything is loaded. Then you can just start generating some predictions. Here is some conversation, and this is the summary. So you can see it works fine. So this is how you push things to Hugging Face and load them back. I think this approach is very nice, makes it very easy for you to use the model in different environments. That's it for this video. I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you in the next one.